Hi there everybody, it's Rhoda here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today for another card making video. And we are doing some cute Christmas cards today, so it's getting close to our time when we want to start giving out our Christmas cards for the year. So I was trying to think of a way to use some bits and pieces to try and make something that would be quite easy to replicate and make multiples of. So this is the design I'm coming up with today, using one of these really nice bold sentiments from the Joy to You stamp set. So we've got 4 of these. So I've used this one on another card, which is a sort of smaller one, but these are really quite a sizable stamps. Okay, so that one, I mean, it's a good, what, 3 inches high. Yep, not far off. So it's a real good sizable image. Okay, but we're just sticking with the May Your Christmas Be Merry and Bright for this one. Just something really nice and generic. However, you know, if your recipients don't celebrate Christmas, these two work out really well as well. So that's what sort of started this off. I wanted to use that, but I wanted to sort of add some decoration around it, you know, introduce some holly and sort of make it that sort of Christmas feel. So we've got Christmas classics coming in, so I could use the holly and the little sort of pine sort of branch there and the coordinating dies. Okay, so I've used this one here to create some elements. Okay, and then there's the coordinating dies for those stamped images as well, so brought that in. The actual sentiments themselves have been cut with the stitched shapes. So I'm going to need the circle again, so I just used the largest circle and the largest square to cut those out. So that's stitch shapes, really good basics set of dies. And then for the circle, I used these decor edged dies, and it was this one that I used, which depending on whether you want to count in from the centre or out. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the 7th one from the centre, 8th one from the outside. Okay, so that was the circle that I used to create the sort of layer for those, because circles are obviously hard to freehand cut, and I was already using the largest circle, so I brought in that. But with the decal edge and using this funky glittered cardstock, it kind of doesn't look that rough, if you know what I mean. It just kind of looks like it's been cut out, so you can't really see that decal edge as clearly, but that's fine. Wasn't particularly wanting the decal edge, but it did the job in terms of cutting that out. Okay, so that sparkly paper is this stuff. This is called More Dazzle 6x6. It's very similar to something we had in Celebration not so long ago. Oh, actually, I think you get, oh, hang on, how many sheets do you get? Does it say on here? There's 8 sheets. There's 4 of each colour, 6x6. And I've just got my offcuts here that I can probably show you more clearly. So you get a proper gold, if you like, proper yellow gold, and like this sort of, it's not really silver, but it's sort of like a champagne-y colour. Okay, so that's the stuff you get. Really blingy, right? Really nice. Okay. So don't buy a lot of specialty paper, but I figured for Christmas time that would be quite cool. When that's what I have used here. Okay, to add that sort of bit of bling to this. So that's the real goldy gold one, and then this one, and then I've heat embossed with the gold on that. And then this one, I used that sort of champagne-y colour and embossed in silver to go with it instead. Alright, decorated it all up, and then the little holly berries, instead of bringing in the red, I brought in the festive gems, I think they're called. Festive? No, they're not called festive gems at all. They're called red and green adhesive backed pearls. But it's quite funny when you look at the packet, because it doesn't look like they're red and green until you actually take them out, and then you see that the red ones are underneath there. but there's lovely gold, silver, almost like I think those go because these carried over, so they're more like soft succulent, if you like. If you were around last year and you knew that in colour that's retired in the summer, soft succulent, and then we've got a nice red. Okay, so that's those. So I'm just going to pop those back in their packet just for a minute, otherwise they'll go wandering off. Okay, so these are on shaded spruce card bases. A little bit of very, very, very basic colouring for the holly. And that's it really. So let's walk you through how we get to this then. So just because we'll switch out and we'll use some real red card bases. So I've already cut those, so you can get 2 card bases from an A4 sheet of paper, don't forget. Alright, so if you do what I do and make top folding cards, you will score the short side at 5 7/8 and then cut them lengthways at 4 1/8. If you want to do a side fold card, you just switch that around. You score at 4 1/8 on the short side. No, long side, short side, yes, and cut them the other way. So there's my 2 card bases ready to rock and roll. The background panel is, so I've already cut, so obviously I'd already cut this sheet because I used the other half of this on the background of the other ones. So that's a 3-inch section of that dazzling paper, just cut down to 5 7/8 inch. So just a little skinny bit, just taken off the end to cut those to length, and then straight in half at 3. So we've got 1 each for each of our cards, and then I've got a coordinating piece of basic white that will go over the top of those. So I'm going to actually pop some glue onto those now and get those set in, because this is a non-porous surface, so it's going to take a little while for that to dry. So we're going to use our multi-purpose adhesive and be reasonably liberal with it. Make sure we get to the edge and down the middle there, and preferably not on the front. There you go. Okay, so we want plenty of this on to make sure that that sticks. Okay, so we'll just pop that on. So it's a border at the side, but there's no border at the top and the bottom. So you just want to get the side lined up and put that to one side, and then we'll do this one. Ooh. See, me and wet glue just don't get on really, to be honest, but you know what, needs must sometimes, and this is one of those times where we need our wet glue. Okay, so we want to get that as flush to the ends as possible, and well, that one's just fine. This one's just got a bit of glue on the front, which means I just want to just wipe that away, and then I'm just going to use one of these sort of glue erasers just to rub that off, like so. I can tidy that up later on off camera. So I'm just going to pop those to one side because they're nice and flat. It won't take too much, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pop a couple of acrylic blocks on those, and then we'll set that to one side to dry. So I've already got my gold sentiment panel already set up here. Already heat embossed that and popped it onto a 3-inch square. Okay. And then I've already die cut out one of the champagne coloured decal circles. Okay, so that's already cut. Okay, but we need to stamp and heat emboss the circle to go with that. Okay, so we're just using some basic white cardstock for this. So I'm just going to bring in my embossing stuff. So we're using Versamark ink, which is our clear sticky ink for heat embossing. Hold on to that paper. I've got my lovely little tidy tray. Okay, the kit comes with these lovely little reversible tweezers, which are really, really great. So if you've got a smaller piece of cardstock, I'm not going to need them today because this is a large piece of cardstock, but you can hold on to your project. These are heat resistant, so that's really cute. And then you've got a nice brush there for just making sure you get any stray powder off. You'll also get this little anti-static bag, so got some kind of magic dust inside there that just removes any sort of excess oil, lint or whatever that might be on the cardstock that might it might grab your powder as you're putting it on. Okay, so we'll get this stamp nice and inked up. So the bottom portion where you've got that really sort of bold font, just want to make sure that's well covered. So obviously it's a clear ink, but you will see that it glistens slightly on your stamp, so you'll be able to see whether it's coated that okay. And we'll just make sure we get a really nice impression on there by giving it lots and lots of firm pressure, just holding it down in place. Make sure we get all the way to the end and lifting that up. Pop away that ink pad just for a second, and then we can bring in our silver embossing powder for this one. So here's our silver, and we can just chuck a little bit on there and just let it slide off over the rest of it, so you don't need to bung the whole lot on. Okay, give it a good sharp tap, and then you just want to just give it a good check to see whether there's any stray bits and pieces. Okay, and so there's just a little bit there, a little bit there. I just want to tidy up, but the anti-static tool has done most of the work for us. There's just these odd little bits here and there. Okay, brilliant. Just giving it a sharp flick like that just helps. Okay, so at the moment that powder is all dull, it doesn't shine in any way. Okay, we can use our little tray to funnel back our embossing powder. So I quite like using this. Some people decant their embossing powder into larger containers. It's all sort of personal preference, but this works for me and my space. Okay, so we can just pop that away now. So I just need to try and tidy up as I go. I only have so much space. And then I'm going to bring in the my heat tool. Most heat tools will have 2 speeds on them, so for heat embossing, really want to be using the high speed. This is going to make a bit of a racket now, so what I'll be doing is just warming up the cardstock on the front, and then I will bring it round to the front to warm that up. Sorry, warm it up on the front and then go to the back to finish off the heat embossing. I'll try my best to keep it on screen, but we'll see how we get on. Okay. Okay, so that paper and that powder is going to be quite hot, so it sort of stays molten just for a little bit, so you don't want to be sticking your fingers in it, but now it's all lovely and glossy. So I'm just, while the paper's warm, just trying to sort of warp that, you know, bend that back a little bit, because basically it just takes out all the moisture, which means that the paper curls a little bit. Okay, it doesn't take very long to cool off, it just needs to come off a little bit. And then we can bring in this stylish shaped circle that I showed you at the beginning, and the edge of that die, look, just about fits around the edges of the letters. So you just eyeball each of the corners there, and it just about fits around the edges. Okay, so we're just going to pop that into place with a little bit of tape and run that through my Stampin' cutting emboss. Okay, and there we have it. Oops, daisy. Beautiful, shimmery. Okay, just pop that away, so that's out of the way. And just like we did with the other bits and pieces, we'll get some wet glue on that and get it popped under some blocks to make sure that that sticks flat. So that's particularly important for these ones, because they've been heat embossed, they just don't sit flat, so it's going to take a little bit just to encourage that to stick. So try and get that border a little bit as even as possible. So again, I'm just going to pop some D blocks on top of that, which will help flatten it and get that glue set. But these ones hopefully should be nice and set now. These are our panels for our card, so we can pop these on while we're waiting for the other ones to sort themselves out. And again, we'll bring in our wet glue so that we can get our positioning nice and straight. Okay, so this is going to go all the way to the bottom of the card. Just looking to get this top and bottom section as even as possible, and it goes right up to that top fold. So you just want to get that into position, and I stand the card up and make sure it's down all the way. Okay. So we've got our toppers all ready and prepped. I've popped some dimensionals onto the back. And we've got our card bases with our panels already adhered down. So we've got obviously the gold and the champagne there ready to go. Alright, so we can just pop these into place. Remove these dimensionals. Okay, if you feel like you need to, you can pop some of the multi-purpose glue on the back of that, and it will just help you with the positioning. So with this one, the background panel and the square are actually the same width, so you've got that nice straight edge there. Obviously you won't get that with the circle. So we'll just pop those off and try and eyeball getting that sentiment nice and straight. Again, if you feel like you need to, if you pop some glue behind those dimensionals, it will give you a bit of wriggle room behind there as well. Right, so the next element we're going to bring in is this. So I used those dies out of the what was it, Christmas Classics, I think it was, stamp set, to cut out two of these. I'm going to do some surgery on these. Okay, so we're going to snip them in half. Okay, and we're going to basically cut away a lot of this excess stuff, so we end up with just a little piece that we can glue behind the sentiment. So we'll just chop that away and chop that away. And we can do the same with these ones. Just taking away those end pieces. So just chop it in half, like so. So we've got these little sections that we can still glue behind our sentiments. Okay. So again, we can do these all in one go, doing this batch sort of production. Okay, so we'll grab some, again we'll use some of our multi-purpose glue for this. This one's just running a little low, so make sure that's coming through. So we can tuck that behind now and get it positioned where we want it, and no one will ever know that was part of something else. It's a bit like timeless arrangement. It's got those little areas where we can glue down those little finicky bits without having to use little teeny portions of glue. Again, we can come into this one behind, get that positioned. By putting the dimensionals in the middle, I've got plenty of room, because the dimensionals are here, so I've got plenty of room to tuck stuff in behind this panel where I want them to go. Okay, and we can do the same with our sprigs. So I stamped all of these in shaded spruce, so we can pop some glue on those, and these are just going to tuck in underneath, and you can just press those down. Do the same on the other one. So once you've got everything prepped, these go together really, really quickly. So you can kind of, if you are wanting to make multiples, you can stamp and die cut all these little pieces in advance and all that kind of stuff. So here's our little holly leaves that I've already stamped, and I really didn't fuss with the colouring on this, and I just used the shaded spruce markers to do that. There was nothing grand about that at all. You don't have to feel obliged to do fancy blending on everything that you colour. Okay, so we'll pop in these holly branches now. I want them to overlap a little bit, and just over that edge of the, not obscuring the sentiment, but covering that edge a little bit. Just a spot of glue. You don't need much of this stuff. Okay, I'll pop that somewhere around here. So I want that stalk to sort of disappear a little bit. So kind of push them together a little bit. Okay, let's hold that one down a little bit because that one's raising it up. And our last little detail to pop it in are our little festive pearls. So we've got the gold and the silver. Of course there are the red ones, but I wanted to just sort of keep it, this sort of look that I've got going on with the gold and the silver. So these are the gold ones, so let's do this one. So we'll just pop 3 of these into place, that glue's not quite dry yet, so they're just moving around a little bit. But it'll stay in place, obviously, once that's dry. So we'll just pop those in. And then we want the silver ones for this. These ones are not behaving. There we go. Just shuffle that over a little bit. And that one there. Okay, so that's that then. Brilliant. So that's 2 of those cards that we've made now. And obviously I've got 2 sample cards as well. So I've got 4 of these that I can now send out. Okay, so here we are with our red and gold, which is really, really lovely. And then this is the sort of more silvery one. But they're kind of, you know, I don't think it necessarily doesn't go. Okay, so here we are with the green card. Okay, so I don't know whether which one you prefer. I think they both look really, really good. And then here's our one with the silver on the green. Okay, so there we are, 4 cards ready to go. I hope you enjoyed those, and they're really nice and lovely, Christmassy and blingy and beautiful. Okay, thanks ever so much for joining me today. Hope that's given you some ideas. I've had to use some of the stuff in different ways, and I hope you're getting ready for your Christmas as well. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.